Hello. Today I wanted to talk about a film noir which I saw years ago and um, hadn't really watched it for some time now, but decided to give it another watch. And I enjoy this movie quite a bit. It's uh, In a Lonely Place, starring Humphrey Bogart and Gloria, Grahame, and Frank Lovejoy, Carl Burton Reed, Art Smith, Jeff Donnell, Martha Stewart. Um, Directed by Nicholas Ray, and who he directed Rebel Without a Cause. And the gist of this film is a gifted but washed up screenwriter with a hair trigger temper, Humphrey Bogart, and uh, um, yeah, or relative revelatory vulnerable performance, becomes a prime suspect in a brutal Tinseltown murder. The only person who can supply an alibi for him is a seductive neighbor of her own troubled past, Gloria Grahame, the the emotionally charged in a lonely place, fairly adapted from a Dorothy B. Hughes thriller, is a brilliant, turbulent mix of suspenseful noir and devastating melodrama, fueled by powerhouse performances. An uncompromising tale of two people desperate to love, yet struggling with their own demons and each other's. This is one of the greatest films of the 1950s and a benchmark in the career of the classic Hollywood auteur Nicholas Ray. And again, this is a film that is quite interesting. It's a film that people don't really talk much about. It's one of I think Humphrey Bogart's one of his best performances. I don't know if I would say this is his best, but it's one that definitely doesn't really get talked about much. But yeah, he plays Dixon Steele, and again, he's a writer, and he invites a lady to his home, Mildred. Um, One thing I love about Criterion releases is how they give you the cast of characters. You know, Laurel Gray is played by Gloria Grahame. Mildred Atkinson is Martha Stewart. And so there's a book that they want him to adapt, and he is very tired and he doesn't really have much time to read it, so he asks Mildred to basically tell him the book, and she does, and he's not really thrilled with it. And he looks at his neighbor as he's walking around his apartment. She's telling him this, and he sees her getting prepared to go to bed. And she's his alibi because she can see that he he opened the door for Miss Atkins to leave to go home, to get into a taxi, and she's murdered. And so, considering he's like one of the last people to actually see her alive, he is obviously the prime suspect. Boyfriend is looked into, but seems to have an alibi. Of course, Dixon seems to have one, but the captain, he believes there's something uh, more to him because and is a friend of a detective from Nikolai, played by Frank Lovejoy. He's just no, he doesn't believe that Dixon killed him, but Captain does, so has to investigate everything they got, and yeah, it's a very interesting film. It's a very much like a classic film noir in many ways. You know, it's the kind of film that I really enjoy, and production credits. And of course, as criterion, they always have like some essay written, and in this case, it's like this from beginning to end. But yeah, the release of this version is really good. The inside's really cool with the scene of them on the beach. Yeah. One thing is Dixon and Laurel are often associating with his detective friend as well as his wife. Though another reason why people or the captain is suspicious is because when he is informed that Atkinson is dead, he just often tells jokes and doesn't seem to be overtly distraught or upset by the news. And that behavior is quite, disturbing and quite peculiar to say the least. And there's also reports of things where he's gotten into fights with people, and no charges. Sometimes there's no charges given, but then, it's like this guy, he has a temper, and yet, though he has an alibi. But over the course of the film, Laurel kind of wonders whether or not he actually, whether he actually did kill her or not, and the two of them get to become a couple, and obviously as it says here, but and she helps him with a script that he's writing, which is he's writing by hand and she's typing it, and so from there they're just a pretty good team in that regard. But as the film goes on, again, she wonders whether or not he actually killed Mildred or not, because of his behavior becomes more and more, erratic to say the least. He becomes more volatile, and yeah, she actually thinks that he actually did, and again, not surprising, but yeah. So the special features here as a commentary track from film scholar Dana Poland, documentary called I'm a Stranger Here Myself, made in 1975. It's about director Nicholas Ray. Just it's slightly condensed for this release. There's an interview with biographer Vincent Curcuro about actress Gloria Grahame. It's a piece from 2002 from filmmaker Curtis Hanson, a radio adaptation of from 1948 of the original Dorothy B. Hughes novel broadcast on the program Suspense, and of course an essay from critic Imogen Sarah Smith. I've never actually seen that name before. IMOGN, so I probably pronounced that wrong. But yeah, this is a film that I just really wanted to see. It came out in 1950. I've already talked about two films from 1950, so again, this is 75 years old now, or at least will be, I guess, at some point of the year. This release came out in 1920. Yeah, the film came out in 1950, but this particular Criterion release is from 2016, which is around when I got it. Hadn't seen this before, but when this was announced, saw Humphrey Bogart on the cover and thought it'd be an interesting film to see. And yeah. Yeah, I hope all this was coherent. It's just like, reading the back here and giving some more interesting tidbits, because again, I know that some people who watch my videos don't always see these kinds of films, so I want to try to give as much of a good description as possible. Sometimes the descriptions on the back of the movies can be very sufficient, but sometimes they cover the broad strokes, but also in a way maybe like what's there might not be overtly interesting to many people. So yeah, this is a good film. If you liked film noirs and you haven't seen this, I recommend this. It's definitely one that is a film that, again, not talked about much. At least I don't see it talked about much. Particularly with Humphrey Bogart. Outside of Rebel Without a Cause, this is really like the only film of Nicholas Ray's that I've actually watched. So I'll probably try to see some other films that he's made in the near future. Apparently he was described as like the last Hollywood romantic filmmaker. And there was an actress who wrote a book, I believe, about her own life, and then knew him or something or whatever, just talking about various things in Hollywood. And apparently she knew Humphrey Bogart fairly well, and said that this part it was the most like him. So I'm like, right, or at least like his personality, at least, maybe not necessarily the short temperament that Dixon has. At least I would hope not, but I guess personality wise, like, making jokes and things of that nature, trying to be a sort of an easygoing person, but perhaps he wasn't all the way easygoing. But yeah, very good film, and a very good release. This is a 2K digital restoration, so I wonder if Criterion will ever re-release this in 4K. They do that every so often, so Wouldn't be surprising if at some point in the future there's another release of this in 4K. I don't know. The 2K restoration looked really good. Um, and I'm sure a 4K would look excellent too. Black and white films usually look good in 4K, honestly. Um, some 4K releases don't look the best, and I know Criterion has been criticized at times where it doesn't look like they did the best job that they should have. And so, yeah. But anyway, In a Lonely Place is a very good film. It's one I think that is worth watching. And yeah, hope this was an interesting video. If not, I apologize. I wanted to watch this again, decided to, and yeah. Plus, older films like this, I always find these to be some of the most interesting films. Honestly, I just really like some of these characters and the overall stories of the films of this time period. They're all very good. Well, I guess they're not all good, but at the bare minimum, many of the premises are very promising, and perhaps some of the executions of some films aren't the best, but this is a good film. Um, Nicholas Ray did a great job. Uh, Andrew Salt and Edmund H. North wrote the film, though it says adaptation by Edmund H. North and screenplay by Andrew Salt. That was kind of confusing to me, but whatever. Again, all in all, fine film. And if you have watched this film, did you think this was a good film, bad film? Do you think this is actually one of Bogart's best performances? I mean, I know I said that earlier, and I'm like, it's a very good film. It's a good performance. Now I don't know if he would have gotten nominated for an Oscar. Had he gotten nominated, that would have been a pretty good nomination, though I don't believe he would have won. I still think that William Holden should have won for Sunset Boulevard, but I've already talked about all that. But yeah, good film, excellent performances. Everybody involved did a very good job. So yeah, do you like it? Do you dislike it? Somewhere in between. What do you think about Bogart's performance? Is it one of his best, or is it somewhere maybe in the middle, or perhaps do you think it's a weak performance? I wouldn't say it's a weak performance myself, but hey, whatever. Everybody has their own opinions. So, but yeah, if you've seen the film, you can let me know what you think, and who knows. If you haven't seen it, hopefully I was able to say something of interest. um, yeah, maybe at some point in the near future I'll talk about some of the other Hitchcock films, because I know last week I mentioned that after talking about Rope, might watch some of the other films in that set I got, but I don't know. I just got in the mood to watch this, so that's what I got for you today. Hopefully it was interesting, and yeah. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you all have a great day. Hope you all have a great weekend and a great next week. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.